What's going on, friends? Sam Prentice back once again. We are feeling the heat today in the studio because Thermal Master have just sent me their new P2 Pro thermal camera that plugs straight into the bottom of your iPhone.
You are watching a master at work.
So first things first, this is an older style lightning cable, which isn't going to plug into my USB on my iPhone 16. So I'm going to have to order a part for it. Well, let's start off by thanking Thermal Master for sending me this imaging camera. They did actually ask if I would take a look at this and see how it compares to the HIC Micro E, which I reviewed before. And they are very similar, as a captured range of -20 to 400 degrees Celsius. The P2 Pro, though, of course, is -20 to 600 degrees, with a temperature range of 1.5 degree accuracy and a super IR resolution of 256 by 192, whereas the Micro E was 96 by 96. The P2 Pro, of course, is £100 more expensive, so I guess we'll have to wait and see if it's worth it. And as I did say in my last review, I do use these cameras for more than just random curious temperature testing. In my real work life, we're actually using Hikvision CCTV cameras to thermally monitor redundant electronic equipment, and specifically ones that house batteries, which could be volatile, possibly leading to fires. So these mobile phone units are really handy to scan items as they come into the business, and they help us in our fire prevention workflow. But this also means that we can get really close into the items as they come in. Any items that are showing thermal runaway, it's an easy detection for us. The Mini E is currently being used twice daily by our compliance team to spot issues before they arise. So I'm pretty confident that the P2 Pro will not only match, but also deliver a higher quality image. Now, one thing I did notice when doing some research on this particular camera is that there is another camera out there called the P2 Pro by Infraray, which is going to just confuse everybody. So make sure you're using the links in the description to be linked up to this very camera. So inside of the box, of course, you will find the camera, the magnetic camera shield, and well, make sure you don't lose this, along with an extension cable. So I was just checking through the accessories and guess what I found? A lightning to USB-C connector. It was actually in there already, so I can cancel my order on Amazon. But what you don't get with this, which you did get with the Mini E, is this carry case. So I would guess that is another consideration. The Micro E, of course, does live inside of that box and it's used daily. So using something like this, which could be loose, well, you know, you just don't want to lose it. So let's unlock my phone and just plug the camera in. Now, most of the ones that I've tested with these, when you plug it in, it just downloads something or it takes you to a website and it's saying here, app not installed. So there it is. Would you like to install the app? And of course, yes, we would. So we're going to go over to the App Store. We're going to quickly download this. Now, it's coming up with two icons at the moment. One basically says Thermal P2 and the other one is Temp Master. Now, this does also have some software which is external, so you can plug this into a laptop and it will give you a load of analysis and stuff on that. I don't know too much about that. We're going to get into that a little bit later on and I'll just give you a brief outline of what that is. But, well, let's hit this button and download. So while we're getting into this, another couple of notable parts of information here is the camera is quite lightweight. It weighs just 10 grams and it does connect seamlessly to one of these companion apps. Now, there are two apps that are available. One is from our Curious P2 copy that made me think that either the software is a crossover or the company is perhaps the same company but a different name, or a system company, or a bolt-on. Now, in China, that isn't so unusual, but it can certainly be quite confusing. And after spending just a few seconds Googling, no, Thermal Master and Infraray are not the same company, but they are related. Thermal Master is essentially a distributor or a licensee for Infraray. So Infraray basically develops the thermal camera technology. Thermal Master focuses on making the product accessible to a wider market. Essentially, Thermal Master is a brand that utilizes Infraray's technology. So it's the same, but different. Yeah. Good for them. So inside of the app, of course, you'll find a range of features, including customizable color depth maps, and interestingly, a 15 times pinch to zoom capability. Now, Thermal Master has also developed software that you can use to post-process your temperature data from your photos or even your videos, and to generate professional reports at any time. The camera, of course, once plugged in, only draws 0.3 watts of power, and it's accurate, like I said before, to 1.5 degrees. So inside of some of these tests, and really, what am I really testing for? It's the upper and lower ranges of that thermal camera. Now, we're going to use a Prusa XL. We're going to show you the heat bed on that. We're also going to show you some thermal imaging from the hot end as well. Also, we're going to show you a tap because we've got a hot tap in the house here. very flash, right? We'll show you a dog. Why not? We'll show you one of the new puppies that we've got here. He's running around all over the place at the moment. And we'll show you some other interesting things like exhausts. So we've got an exhaust project that I'm working on right now where there's a heat shield, and I need to understand what the thermal range is going to be on that, certainly once it's cold, once it's been started, and then obviously when it's been running hot for a while as well. So 3 stages for that. That's certainly going to be in part of those tests as well. This channel is sponsored by Polymaker and PCBWay, the best choice in filament and PCB manufacturing. Explore PCBWay's 3D printing portal. Easily upload your STL file and choose from a spectrum of exotic filaments for that special project. From PCBs to 3D prints, trust PCBWay.com for your unmatched quality and innovation. Visit them today at PCBWay.com.
Okay, so we've got easy mode, simple temperature management mode, support image calibration, photography, video recording, changing of colour and swatching and other functions. We've got infrared. Okay, that's interesting. Why would you have 2 different brands with the same name? We've got pro mode, of course. Then we've got more functions as well. Image processing. Let's just start now. Now, at the moment, I don't have the lens cap off, so we're going to take the lens cap off first. There it is. Okay, so the palette at the moment is just a plain palette. So let's change that up a little bit. Let's go to a rainbow color. That's really out of focus right now, isn't it? I wonder if I need to take this off. Okay, so the shield that we have here, this little shield, that's the temperature I'm at the moment. That is basically just a cover. That's really interesting. Now I do have a little puppy on the floor down here. He's quite warm as well, look, nice and toasty. What else have we got here? We've got a laptop where I'm doing my editing. We've got this Anker power supply, which is pretty interesting. Then we've got some lighting up here. I love that it's spotting the hot and cold zones here. That's really interesting. So at the bottom here, we've got photo and we've got video, so I can record this at the same time. We might as well give that a go. This is my lighting. You can see that the heat's coming off of that. It's 31 degrees up there apparently. Let's go and have a walk around the house a little bit. We should have a dog in here who is asleep. Now she's awake. One of the things I really like about this stuff is the image of putting your hand on something and taking it away and still having the residue of your heat. I think that's pretty cool. I'm going to go to a cooler area here into the freezer. See what we get in here. Okay, it's waiting. So minus 17 apparently. That can't be right, can it? That's really cold. Maybe it is right. Maybe there's some calibration that needs to be done. Okay. So let's take a trip outside. We did this last time actually, and we looked at the hot tub, and we were looking at the residual heat and where it's potentially being lost from. It's quite a warm day out here. There's no real transfer inside of that. It says not to point it at the sun, so I'll try and keep it away from that. But this is all the stuff that's hot out here. Huh, look at that. Brickwork. That didn't work. Okay. We're going to head back into the kitchen and we're going to hit the tap on. We're going to make that cold. Okay, so that's cold. Obviously on the hottest part here. See how black that is? So we've also got a heat tap here as well. Oh yeah, look at that. Madness. Let's maybe walk over to one of the printers here. Now everything is off on this, so there shouldn't be any heat transfers at all here. Let's just go home and let's preheat the bed. Let's see what happens there. I'll take this off because this could be quite interesting. And the heater for the hot end is going to be up here, I believe. So this has started to get... So individually on the Prusa XL, these individual panels here heat individually. So if you're just printing one thing, it'll just heat that one panel. There we go, that's heating up. Now, at the same time, I'm just going to grab... Let's pick a tool as well. So you can't see this, but let's pick tool 1 up. It's going to move around a little bit. And you can see now the temperature of the hot end. In fact, all of the hot ends, I believe, are now heating up. It's quite difficult to get in there. So we're just going to pick this one. And the bed is heating up to 60 degrees. So in regards to the accuracy here, we did want this to go up to about 60 degrees, so that's a pretty good indication there. And it does say the tolerance is within about 1.5 degrees. Now, this should go up to a couple of hundred or 190, I believe. And it has also got a little shield on it, so let's move that down a little bit. Okay, in this state, it might just be heating up. This might be about a 150. Let's have another look. Let's go back. 170 is what we're looking at. So that's pretty cool. Heated bed, 60 degrees. That's what we're looking at. And a hot end around about, just turned up a little bit more, 170 is what we're looking for. And this is recording directly from the camera now. So we've got 60 on the bed there. We should have just over 170 to 180 now on the hot end. So we can also change the palette on here. So if you've got a different temperature range that maybe you want to use a different color for, or it might be more appropriate for, look at that. That's cool. This is called white hot, black hot. Then we've got rainbow, iron red, aurora, jungle, golden red, medical, dim light, gold, red hot, and cedar. Now it does sometimes pause for a second. You might have seen that on the video there. That also used to happen on the other camera as well. The delay isn't as long as the Micro E. This does run a little bit more advanced, I believe, than that. But the image quality does look stunning. So I'm going to pause that there. Push a different mode there. That's another capture. So that resets. What else have we got here? So we've got image flip, variable. Okay, so management mode, high quality, wider ranges. Let's see what happens here if we hit this. Whoa. Okay, that's interesting. Not sure. I think I like the high image quality version. So you can switch the modes out on this as well while you're using the app. And what else have we got inside of the app here? Let's push this button. So it is an infrared product. I don't understand the differences between the two. We've got an image setting here as well. So continuous image capture. We've got the unit temperature, which again we are using Celsius for. Temperature alarms. Burn prevention, which is handy. So it might be that infrared is just the software and the camera is made by somebody else. I do not know. Or maybe, just maybe, these two companies are the same company. Either way, I don't really care. So let's go back to the App Store and let's go into Temp Master. Again, this is a Thermal Master version, so you might just be that it's the app that is that, which would kind of make sense. Okay, so we've got a similar kind of situation again. Lots of information here. I don't really want to have to log in. Okay, we'll hit that. Let's hit the camera button again. So this is in the second app that we potentially could download. And this again has a few more display points on it. So let's first of all start by changing this up. Let's get the temperature display into a different mode if we can. How do we do that? Here we go, down the bottom here. So that's the usual, or rainbow is the usual we might be used to using. Then we can record, or we can take a photo. Don't want you to go into that at the moment. Oh, that's interesting. Hang on then. So yeah, go on then. So that should give me some information. I've actually switched it off. I didn't allow it. So I could then have, if I wanted to have a picture in picture, then I could have that, and you could have that displayed in the top left. Unfortunately, I've told it no. So if I come back out and go back in again, it might allow me to do it again. Let's try again. Let's go. No, I've disallowed it to doing it. Okay, doesn't matter. So we can mirror mode here. We can rotate. Again, if I had this switched on, we would have that transition of looking actually what we're looking at here, rather than you just seeing it. It's be a full color camera, so actually use the iPhone camera at that point. Temp display on and off, font colors here as well. That's pretty cool. And then you can run a box here. So if I wanted to draw a box, that would give me the temperature range just inside of that area. I can switch that off again. Or if I wanted to put a circle in, I could do the same. If I had a particular need for a line, there we go. That gives you the full ranges, and all the information then is displayed at the top left-hand corner there. Again, at the moment, it's -20 to 150 degrees. If I wanted to change this up, then of course I can change that up to 100 to 600 degrees, depending on the range. I'm going to hit auto for the minute and see what it says. And then we've just got the normal point here as well. Of course, we can delete all those, just like that. Actually, the app is super easy to use. I like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, so this is the bike that I want to test. The big problem I've got here is the heat shield on this at the moment is reflective. So you won't actually get a good reading from this. It won't be necessarily accurate, but I'm interested to see how hot this gets. So maybe the metalwork around here might be a good analysis for that. So I'm going to start the bike up and see where we go. Okay, so the engine's up to temperature. As you can see down the bottom here, we do have some rather hot heat here, 180 degrees as we come out of the engine blocks. The engine block's here, and this is basically the manifold, and it comes around into the exhaust. It loops back around and comes back up this way. Hopefully you can see that. And there's another hot spot just up here. Now that's at nearly 70 degrees. So I'd imagine this is probably going to get up to around about 100. Now the heat shield comes across here. It is chrome and it's reflective, so we're not going to get a really good temperature range off of that. But in between there, if you can see these little grills here, here and here, you will see a range of about 30 degrees. So hopefully, if I spray and 3D scan this, I might be able to put a new heat shield on this and maybe print it in a semi-exotic material with some carbon fibre infusion. What I don't want to have happen, of course, is for this exhaust to get super, super hot and for the plastics to melt over the top here. So that could be disastrous. And certainly as we're getting into that range of 70 degrees up to 100 degrees, that's when 3D printing material may start to suffer. So we're going to see how that goes in a different video, so make sure you stay tuned for that one.
So the results are in, and actually the results are really good. This is a very capable thermal imaging camera for your mobile phone. But typically with these devices, it's going to be down to two main factors. It's going to be the hardware and it's going to be the software. And I've got to be honest, on both accounts here, they've done really well. And the quality overall is not just good, it's great. And there's some very strong wins here for the hardware and the resolution quality overall. The unit also comes with 2 years warranty, and the software that I spoke about earlier, well, unfortunately, that only works on a Windows PC, and well, I'm using a Mac, so I won't be able to test that one. One major thing that I noticed though, that there was little to no delay on the refresh on the P2 Pro, and that's certainly going to be ahead of the Micro E, because this thing does tend to stutter and mutter as you're recording, which, to be frank with you, becomes kind of annoying. Aside from maybe buying or 3D printing a case for this, well, I do prefer the Pro 2, and that's very much down to the apps and the quality of the image. So it is double the price, but I guess that's what you pay for. You're paying for that overall quality, and that's going to be again down into that hardware, I believe. So Micro E versus the P2 Pro. P2 Pro certainly comes out on top. What do you guys think about these products? Let me know down in the comments below. If you want to see the review on this one as well, the Micro E, I'll link that down in the description as well. Guys, thanks for watching this. If you do decide to buy one, make sure you look at the links in the description below. They are affiliate links, so it helps the channel out. But let me know what you think about these two products in the description. We will see you next time. Bye for now.
You are watching a master at work.